A look at the preseason all-conference team. Brian Johnson has them salivating in Salt Lake, back from injury to take over the reins at quarterback at Utah. Aaron Brown, he's the preseason Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, ready to carry the load for TCU. We already heard from Rodney Ferguson, who's evidently a star at the In-N-Out Burger, in addition to in the backfield, Travis Brown at receiver. He is back as well. Ryan Wolf and Wade Betchart from Wyoming, guys that we're going to hear from coming up later in the show. And you can't do anything without a good offensive line. BYU and Utah each with two guys on the O-line. And the next team up here on the Mountain West Media Blitz is TCU. And that's really, despite Aaron Brown, a team known for its defense.
Right, Aaron Brown, the sole member on the Mountain West preseason offense. They've got 4 members on the all-conference defensive team so far. I mean, Blake and Ortiz are 2 phenomenal players. Blake will end up being probably the defensive player of the year. This is a team that hasn't given up a 100-yard rushing game to an opponent in their last 20 games. They were second in the nation overall in defense. 9 out of 11 starters are back for TCU. They are going to be phenomenal this year. I think their schedule is very manageable. If they can somehow beat Texas in that second game of the season, TCU is going to make its way into the top 10 of the nation.
That is a big game in week 2. And TCU, the team that was second in the nation in points allowed per game and yards allowed per game. And they do have a star carrying the ball in addition to all the stars on defense. Tom and Trev hanging out with the Horned Frogs as we return to Vegas. Guys?
All right, Adam, thanks. Yeah, they do indeed have a star running the ball. They also have some stars, obviously, on the defensive side. So TCU joins us now. Gary Patterson, head coach, is with us. David Hawthorne joins us, and Aaron Brown. Aaron, they're talking a little bit about offense back in the studio, but before we get into that, I want to ask you about getting into the new indoor practice facility. I know Coach loves it, even though he likes you guys to practice in the heat. You get plenty of that during 2-a-days. But you guys must love it as well, having a place to go in and do your 7-on-7. You get in away from that Texas heat a little bit.
It's great to have an indoor facility. I know Coach has been asking for one for a while, and now we get one. And we know during the season we won't really be seeing it too much. But as far as the summer goes, it's easier on our body. We don't sweat as much. I mean, it just feels different. And our artificial turf is not as hot. And it's just a better way just to get away from the heat and just keep a better condition and just things of that nature.
Coach, I want to talk to you about the consistency with which you've built this program. You're one of the few programs, 3 of the last 4 years, you've had 11 wins. That's really remarkable. Obviously, you've had great players, but there obviously has to be something more to it than that. What at its core is it that's allowed you to be so successful?
Well, you know, it's our 10th, going on our 10th year at TCU, and I think it starts at the top with the Board of Trustees all the way through the Chancellor. There's been a lot of consistency. Along with the coaching staff, as far as the administration, everybody being on the same page, doing the things they need to do to make sure that we're going on the right path. You know, and the thing that we've done is we haven't asked for anything gaudy. Everything that we've ever asked for to try to get done is something that we need to be able to win or to be able to move forward. And I think people trust that we're going to do the right things for the right reasons. And then, you know, we've got to have a little luck and some good players to go along with it to win, and guys that work hard. You know, football in the state of Texas doesn't make it bad.
You know, mentioning football in the state of Texas, obviously last year, if you looked at your schedule, those emotional games against BYU and Texas Tech probably impacted the next 2 games when you had to play BYU and on the road at Utah. This year now, both of you young men from the state of Texas get the opportunity to go to Austin. I see the smile on your face right now. How much are you guys looking forward to showing the nation? You guys know it yourselves, but playing against some of the guys you played with in high school, the opportunity to go to Austin and play the Texas Longhorns?
It'll be great. For one, we'll take Baylor first, and then we'll go to Texas. We'll worry about one team at a time. But
good job, Coach. That's very well coached.
Coach talk.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thinking about Texas, I ran track, and every year we would go to state, and we would go to Texas and run a championship up there or whatever. But just as far as just the atmosphere, I can only imagine how crazy it'll be. I mean, I remember going down to Norman in Oklahoma, playing them guys down there, and it was unbelievable experience. I mean, the crowd, the fans, it was just something I never had imagined. And it was my freshman year, so coming from high school, I did not expect college to be anything more close to that.
David, I want to ask you about this defense. You know, it really is a remarkable defense. You have 9 starters back, obviously terrific defensive ends, Ortiz and Blake. Linebacker position, Explain it. Tom talked about the 3-3-5, maybe a little bit more like a 4-2-5, but explain the difference of this defense from your standard defenses that the average fan sees every Saturday.
I think the difference is you don't have 3 linebackers, you only have 2. So we rotate because we have a lot of depth at linebacker, and we have a lot of guys that can come in and give us breathers and stuff. So we always bring energy out there. Nobody's overworked. Everybody's fresh, and we can run around and make plays and stuff. So that's the only difference. You have more opportunities to have depth with 2 linebackers instead of 3.
Say what another difference between your defense and others, those 2 guys you have at the ends. I'm sure they make your job a little bit easier, but tell the folks at home, the fans at home, how having 2 very talented defensive ends, how that affects your play and what you're responsible for during a game.
It takes a lot of pressure off of us having those 2 guys on the end and having the nose guard and the tackle. They keep the big guys off of us so we can roam around and play a little bit. But, people don't really notice it. Like, linebackers are good because of the guys they have in front of them, and we notice it, remarkably.
One of the things, I've been to some of your practices, guys. I really feel bad for you after watching a couple practices. I really don't. It's a level of intensity, and it's what's allowed you guys to be successful. But the 4-2-5 defense, you do have 9 starters back, but you have lost some depth in starters at safety and corner. And I know watching your defense and talking to you, the safety position in the 4-2-5 defense is very, very important, isn't it?
It is. It's the communication center of our defense. Really, we have our defensive ends back, our linebackers, corners. The thing that for us, we lost Marvin White. When you play a 9-safety system, which is basically what you do when you have 3, because you want to play 3 deep, you really have to develop. And we lost 4 seniors, only 1 starter. We have 4 really good ones coming back. They'll give us, but it's going to be very important for us, especially special teams, for the next group starting on August 1 or August 2 when we step on the field, that they learn it and understand those guys have to take care of it. Because, one of the intriguing things about a 4-2-5 is it allows us to, play base defense, but you can zone blitz, you can man blitz, where everybody else is moving into a nickel, which in a lot of ways we're already there. But to be able to do that, you have to be able to know what you're doing, and those guys really control the whole thing.
Guys, thanks a lot for being with us. We certainly appreciate it. Best of luck this year. We'll see you week number 1 against Baylor.
Thank you.